Hello, everyone. Welcome back once again. I am Nicodemus Kane. Today is January the 6th of 2023. I almost said 2022. That'd be the first time I've done that this year. But no, it is January the 6th, 2023. As always, keep your eyes open. Keep your ears open. Use discernment in all things. And just watch yourself. Be careful. Watch the tricks of this world. Watch the tricks of evil men. Actually, I was, so I just got out of the shower a little bit ago, and, hold on one second. I got out of the shower, and I was thinking about, I wrote it this morning on Twitter, the biggest problem with Christians, people of God, followers of Christ, the biggest problem with us, let's put it that way, as a whole, is that they think that for the past 2,000 years that they can't be snared by the evil people of this world, that they can't be fooled, they can't be tricked, that they are under the protection of Christ and that they cannot be tricked or fooled, and that they know everything, and that there is nothing in the world that can harm them. That's wrong. You can easily be tricked. You can easily be fooled. Christ himself said to be wary, to use discernment, to be like the Bereans and check everything. But most Christians, of course, because of false teachers, false promises, those teachers that just want to say the soft words that tickle your ear, they just tell you what you want to hear so that you'll pay your tithe and move on. They go out of their way to tell you nothing can hurt you. You'll be okay. You'll be just fine. Don't worry about it. There is nothing in this world that can hurt you or harm you or destroy you, and that everything is just fine. There is no good person in this world that says they are of God that has ever lied to you ever. That's wrong. That's false. You can very easily be fooled and tricked, just like everybody else, throughout the entire history of the world, unless you are doing your due diligence to go and hunt these things out, to find out if somebody is really lying to you or not. You can very easily be tricked. Just something I was thinking about today, because it's just so many people today, especially with the events over the past couple of days, with the Twitter battle that I had yesterday, with the Damar Hamlin situation. I don't want to talk about it very much, I don't want to talk about it anymore because it's old news anyhow. People are going to be going on and on about it as much as they want to, and I'm sure that it's not moved out of my realm or my perspective of this realm. I'm sure there's still going to be people that are going to come and talk to me about it, but I'm going to drop it as far as I'm concerned. But thinking about all those people that I have seen constantly that have said, "Oh, look, they're good Christian men that are, praying to God. They're for God, of God." Hey, that may well be, and that will be between them and God. That's great. That's wonderful if they're actually doing it. But you have the majority of the world now, or at least the majority of the followers of the NFL, that are out there doing this pray for Damar, not knowing that Damar or Damara, because yes, they can change the names but still keep the same gods, not knowing that Damara, is a Celtic goddess of fertility. Who are you really praying to? Do your due diligence. You can easily be tricked. Know what the hashtags mean. Know what you're getting into. But I see it over and over and over again. And I bet you any amount of money those people that I was arguing with, if you want to call it arguing, fine, whatever. Twitter arguing. The people that I was just trying to wake up to the truth, that wanted to go on and on about how much of a schizophrenic I was and how off my meds I was and how stupid I was, calling me names, all sorts of things, even though all I'm trying to do is just tell them the truth, just trying to get them to look at something. They go out of their way to tell me how ridiculous I am. They could very well think of themselves as Christians themselves. Oh, I'm a man of God. I pray every day. Okay. All right. Who are you praying to? Are you praying for Damar? Yes, I am. Well, then who's Damar? Well, he's a football player. No. Who is that? Who are you really praying to? I told you before, the English language was created in order to fool us and trick us. Names are there to fool us and trick us. They will go out of their way to fool us and trick us. We have fallen into the traps and into the snares of evil men over and over again for the past 70, 80 years. Probably even more than that, but I like to go 70 or 80 years. I like to go 70 or 80 years just because, well, one of the biggest lies of the past the past century happened about 80 years ago. Or at least the start of it was. Still, man. I read it over and over again, and I see them, and I just know what you're doing. Know what you're doing, and know that it is very easy for you to be lied to and manipulated. If you don't have that strong base, that strong foundation of knowledge underneath you, it's like these other guys that are on YouTube that I talked about before. The ones that will go out and they'll do the Bible readings, and they'll talk about all these things, and they've got the big huge followings. They've got all these people that keep coming around, and they got their Patreon, and those guys that will come on and they'll preach every day, and they'll do all the stuff that you think that they're supposed to do. They won't eat the pork, and they won't practice the pagan rituals, and they'll constantly get on to you about following the Sabbath. Constantly. But then they'll tell you, don't read the books of evil men. The only book you need is the Bible. You don't need anything else. They'll tell you that. And then they'll let you go out into the world. You can't be fooled, you can't be tricked, because you have God behind you. But don't read anything else but the Bible. Now go forth. Really? Again, I say you don't have to read any other books besides the Bible. But if you want to make sure that you're doing your due diligence and you're not getting tricked and you're not getting hamstrung down the road by some psychopath that can just make up stuff, if you don't want to get tricked by 50 million other religions, You have to do your due diligence. You have to know how the enemy works. It is absolutely possible for you to get tricked as a Christian in this world right now. Don't think you're immune to it. You have to be careful. Full armor of God. Of course, I've already said, if these were true men of God, if they were really, if they were really, as they say, doing their due diligence, and they're on the YouTubes and they're talking about all their stuff, and if they were really truly men of God, they wouldn't be on YouTube. They would have already fled to the wilderness by now. I've already said it too. We should have fled to the wilderness by now. We would be out there making our own way because God would have provided for us. But we're not. We're on YouTube. Why does this guy need a Patreon? You're gonna sit there and you're gonna tell people how to worship and follow God. Why you need a Patreon? Why do you need a Patreon? You're gonna teach us how to do that. Okay, fine. How is God providing for you? By forcing other people to pay you money. I didn't want to get too far into this though, because Jeremiah 25 is a big one. 2 pages. 2 pages of Jeremiah 25. So if I'm going to read this, I have to get on this now. I just wanted to say that though, man. I was just thinking about that. Like I said, I was in there getting ready, and it just started coming around because just the language that they've been using for this football thing. Know who you're praying to. It makes me want to go back and look at every other time anybody has ever asked us to pray for anybody or for anything, and really look at the names and see just who they were praying to. I mean, we can go back and we can talk about the Yes We Can chants whenever Obama was out there. The reverse audio on Yes We Can is Thank You Satan. We can go back to 9/11 itself. We can go back to anything George Bush said at the time that was happening. You go back to the phonetic pronunciations of the words that the kids that were using in the classroom, even though it wasn't, kite, steel, must, plane, whatever it was, even though that wasn't the actual words, the pronunciations of the words that they were using was kite, hit, steel, must, whatever it was. And it's there to manifest these things into the world. Even the things I say could be doing something. I don't know. We have to be careful what we say. I honestly wonder if that's part of what the prayer closet is. Christ said to go into your prayer closet by yourself and pray to God. Not out in the open, not out in the world, not out in front of people. Go pray to yourself, away from others. I wonder if that's part of it, is that you're not manifesting manifesting something out into the world. I don't know. I really don't know. Somebody said once before that if you pray, don't pray in front of electronic devices. Sadly, I do. I don't think I should be doing that, but don't pray in front of anything that could pick your voice up, because that's how they can get you. That's exactly how they can get you. I've heard a lot of things. It just, there's power. There's power in words. And you have to be careful. You have to be careful. So many people are falling for it. You have to be careful. Don't think that you can't be tricked. Don't think that just because you have the love and the salvation of the Father behind you that you cannot be fooled. The Bible has gone out of its way to show you over and over again that the people that were, even the promised people of Israel, very easily got turned and tricked into following other gods. And once they were in there, they didn't come out. They didn't come out until God said, you know what, I'm gonna strike every one of you down. I'm gonna humble every single one of you. Those that I don't kill are gonna be taken into captivity, and you're gonna be screaming to come back. Enough about all that, though. We have to start reading this if I want to get through it. So, Jeremiah 25. The word that came to Jeremiah concerning all the people of Judah in the 4th year of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah. That was the 1st year of Nebuchadrezzar, king of Babylon. The which Jeremiah the prophet, I'm going to read that one again, and I'm going to, I don't know why, my brain stopped on that word the way that it did. The which Jeremiah the prophet spoke unto all the people of Judah, and to all the inhabitants of Jerusalem, saying, From the 13th year of Josiah, the son of Ammon, king of Judah, even unto this day, that is the 23 year, the word of the Lord hath come unto me, and I have spoken unto you, rising early and speaking, but ye have not hearkened. And the Lord hath sent unto you all his servants the prophets, rising early and sending them, but ye have not hearkened, nor inclined your ear to hear. They said, Turn ye again now every one from his evil way, and from the evil of your doings, and dwell in the land that the Lord hath given unto you, and to your fathers forever and ever. And go not after other gods to serve them, and to worship them, and provoke me not to anger with the works of your hands, and I will do you no hurt. Yet ye have not hearkened unto me, saith the Lord, that ye might provoke me to anger with the works of your hands, to your own hurt. Pilker on verse 8. So going all the way back up to the top, the word that came to Jeremiah concerning all the people of Judah in the 4th year of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, that was the 1st year of Nebuchadrezzar, king of Babylon. So this was the 1st year of Nebuchadrezzar. This was after things had started happening. This is the 1st year of the king of Babylon having taken over. And Jeremiah came to them, the which Jeremiah the prophet, and I don't know why. I have heard it said like that before. It was the which such and such happened like this, but I don't know why my brain wants to stop. I am not saying W-I-T-C-H, which. This is W-H-I-C-H, which, as in which one? Which one would you want? But my brain is so... Read it for yourself. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to me, because my tongue is tying so much that I am making this not come out the way it's supposed to. So read it for yourself. I always say that anyways. If anyone listens to this, if anyone's actually, following anything I do, read it for yourself. And if you want to read it on a computer screen, hey, fine, whatever. That's your business. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I always say, though, that there is far more, I don't know what you want to call it, energy, power, something that happens whenever you actually read it out of a book. I don't know if it's the paper or what, but there's something more you get out of reading it off of an actual physical copy than you do just reading it off a screen. At least for me. I'm a traditionalist. What do you want? Maybe I've said before, maybe it has something to do with the paper. Our connection with the trees. We have a connection with the trees. We have a connection with all things. But we've lost that connection because people say that we're just all just useless, meaningless garbage atoms and DNA and stuff. And they've done their absolute best to tell us that there is no energy that flows through everything, that you're just nothing. That's wrong. No, the trees have their energy. The plants have energy. The animals have energy. You have energy. Even the concrete in your house has an energy. It may be a low energy, but it is an energy. Everything in the world is made out of some kind of energy. There's dark energy too, but it is all some kind of energy. I don't want to be the one to lead anybody astray and say, all of this is connected and everything, and, we're all some new age garbage. No. Your Bible actually says that the trees, the plants, the mountains, the rocks, everything sings songs to God. I cannot remember exactly where. I think it was a psalm that said everything beats a rhythm, sings a song, makes a prayer, shows itself. Several different ways of saying it. But it all goes back to God. It is a resonance. It is an energy. It is something that we cannot understand. It is a spiritual energy of the world. And this has been proven time and time again. People have, they've taken energy measurements of things. They've listened to the trees make noises, and they've beat out rhythms. Everything. God created this whole thing as a gigantic power cell. I don't know why, but it is. It's a gigantic power cell. It's a living clock. We're all inside of it. Taking, giving, consuming, feeding, giving back to it. Energy. It's constant. It's moving. It's a cycle. It's a very, very beautiful engine. It's a beautiful clock. It's a beautiful whatever you want to call it. Some people call it something. Some people call it another thing. But it's... trying to think of the right words to say. It's a beautiful electronic engine. Let's put it that way. It's, But you have to be careful with the way you're saying these things. Let's go back to where it was. The witch. Careful with your words. Alright, so this is the first year of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. This is the witch Jeremiah, the prophet. This is the year which Jeremiah, that's what it means. The years which Jeremiah the prophet spake unto all the people of Judah, and to all the inhabitants of Jerusalem, saying, From the 13th year of Josiah, the son of Amon, king of Judah, even unto this day, that is the 23rd year, the 23rd year, from the 13th year of Josiah to the 23rd year. That's 10 years. The word of the Lord hath come unto me, and I have spoken unto you, rising early and speaking, but ye have not hearkened. So this is 10 years. So Jeremiah is not a child anymore. Well, maybe 16. You got to figure he was, even at his youngest, maybe 6. So I'm going to say 8. I don't know. Somebody could probably go back and figure it out. So he's coming into young adulthood now. So we can't really talk about Jeremiah as a child anymore. The word of the Lord hath come unto me, and I have spoken unto you, rising early and speaking, but ye have not hearkened. And the Lord hath sent unto you all his servants, the prophets, rising early and sending them, but ye have not hearkened, nor inclined your ear to hear. It just popped into my head, rising early and speaking. Rising early and sending them, but ye have not hearkened. I don't know why my brain just suddenly went to, why it is that I am called to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm not saying I'm one of those prophets that was sent. It kind of stuck in my head. But ye have not hearkened, nor inclined your ear to hear. They said, this is verse 5, they said, turn ye again now every one from his evil way, and from the evil of your doings, and dwell in the land that the Lord hath given unto you, and to your fathers forever and ever. And go not after other gods to serve them, and to worship them, and provoke me not to anger with the works of your hands, and I will do you no hurt. It's quite simple. Turn away from your evil. Do not go after other gods. Do not worship them. Do not provoke me to anger. Go to where I told you to go. Do what I told you to do. Don't follow after other gods, and I will do you no hurt. Turn back. Go back to where you were. Turn now everyone from his evil ways. That's what he said. And I will do you no hurt. I will not bring the judgment down upon you if you turn away. This is the one thing that I have been trying to get through to people for the past year and a half. If you turn back from your evil ways, God will not bring the judgment down upon you. Everybody thinks it's over. I have heard so many people say, oh, the end is nigh, we're all going to die, let's just let it all happen, let it all burn. I'm ready for the rapture. Let the rapture come and take me away. It doesn't have to be like that. There is always a better way. There are so many people that are going to be lost and destroyed. People that you think are perfectly saved, that are going to be there beside you. They're not going to be there, because there's going to be something that they didn't allow to happen. I know in my heart that should I be counted among those that make it through the end, there will be so many people I will not see, that I have that I feel like I have failed to not tell them enough, to not try enough. There will be loved ones I know that will not be coming through, whether I make it or not. I've already said my all I can do is pray to God that I do not fall into any more snares and traps. I do not fall back onto my own sins, onto my lusts and desires of this world. That I don't break his promises. That I don't break my promises to him. That I don't break the covenant that he and I have made together. Because I want something better than this. I've seen that God has promised us something better. I had this conversation with myself outside while I was walking the dogs the other day. That kind of starts the same way it always does. Is the world wouldn't be so bad if there wasn't a group of people that were actively trying to kill every single one of us, to destroy us all, to kill the people that they don't want rape the people that they, have left, and then enslave everybody else. There are people in this world that are actively trying to do that now. They have shown their hand over and over and over again. It wouldn't be such a bad place if it wasn't for the fact that there are very evil men that are purposely trying to kill you. Purposefully trying to kill you, let's put it that way. And I was considering that, and I was thinking, what purpose is there to the world anymore? I feel like, I absolutely feel like I have gone through my entire life, the first 40 years, working, constantly striving to get to a place to where I just feel comfortable. But I've never been comfortable. It's always been, you take the roller coaster up to the top, you get to a point where you think it's good, but then you fall back down. You take the roller coaster back up to the top where you feel like you're comfortable, and it just falls right back down. And it's just a constant, work. Hey, I feel pretty good, and then something happens and I fall down again. But now, for the first time in my life, I feel so comfortable. I feel like not only have I found a place where I am comfortable with my wife, with my family, with my finances, I guess. I'm sharing it with God now, and it feels good. It feels amazing. But now we're right on the edge of the world falling apart. And I'm like, God, I was given a promise of something better, and I'm doing my best to hold my end up on that one. But there is that part of it, and I talked to God about this. I talked to him about it, and I said, you know what? It just feels like I have worked my entire life to strive for something that was never there. I get it. I get that I was meant to come to this point so that I could be wise enough to understand and to have the experiences I have and everything else, so that I could be here to be able to say my story and be able to read this book and do all this stuff. But there is a bit of it where it just feels like I have just worked and hustled and strived, and it all means nothing. I've hit a point where I feel really, really good, and now it's just going to all fall apart. But the one thing that pulled me out of all of that was that he's promised something better afterwards. So don't worry about the things in this world. Just turn away from your evil. Turn away from your darkness. Follow his commandments. It's not that hard. It really isn't. It really isn't. Stop worshiping other gods. Turn away from the other gods. Know that the things that you do are worshiping other gods. Do not pray for people that share names with other gods. Pray for the person. Don't pray for the name. Pray for the person. Maybe that's what I should say. Don't pray for the name, pray for the person. Because if you pray for the name, the name may be a god. You have to know what you're doing. Anyways. I'm trying to figure out where I am. Was it verse 6? And go not after other gods to serve them and to worship them, and provoke me not to anger with the works of your hands, and I will do you no hurt. Yet ye have not hearkened unto me, saith the Lord, that ye might provoke me to anger with the works of your hands, to your own hurt. The works of your hands, the things that you do in this world, that you have made, the gods that you have made, the things that you make that are for you, your holidays, your songs, your seasons, your times, your places. I've made a thing about this before. That we are not under God's times anymore. That has been changed. We are under a completely different calendar now. That's not God's times. Somebody got mad at me for saying that. Oh, well, you're just trying to follow some pagan god's calendar because you think that it starts in March. You worship the god Mars because you think that the year starts in March. No, I don't worship some pagan god because I think it starts in March. I don't worship some pagan god that I think the year starts in April. I worship the Most High because he would... Why would a God that promises love and life and harmony start a year in the dead of winter? Your calendar was changed so that you would follow the sun. The sun, sun. That's what it does. When the sun comes back, their calendar starts over. It doesn't matter if January 1st is 2 weeks after the solstice. It doesn't matter. It's the fact that their calendar starts when their sun starts coming back to them. I've talked about this over and over again. The seasons and the holidays is that whenever the sun goes away, they do their worst rituals to try to bring it back. And when the sun comes back, they celebrate with fertility festivals, and we all have sex, and we all make babies so that we can start the process over again. It is a sacrifice machine. This world, this evil world that they have created. God created this place full of life and love, which is the springtime. March, April. Somewhere around in there. It is not because of the names of the months. It is because that is when God told us that he starts his calendar. What is wrong with you people? It just blows my mind. What is wrong with you people? It's like they just can't get it through their head. It's like no matter what you say, what you do, they have something to come back at you with. I have to keep reading because, man, we are running out of time. Verse 8. Therefore thus saith the Lord of hosts, because ye have not heard my words, behold, I will send and take all the families of the north, saith the Lord, and Nebuchadrezzar, the king of Babylon, my servants, and will bring them against this land, and against the inhabitants thereof, and against all these nations round about, and will utterly destroy them, and make them an astonishment, and a hissing, and perpetual desolations. Moreover, I will take from them the voice of mirth, and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom, and the voice of the bride, and the sound of the millstones, and the light of the candle. And this whole land shall be a desolation, and an astonishment, and these nations shall serve the king of Babylon 70 years. Alright, I'm not going to go through too much of this, because this is all pretty much self-explanatory, but I am going to reread it, just so that we have it in our heads. So back up to verse 8. Therefore thus saith the Lord of hosts, because ye have not heard my words, Behold, I will send and take all the families of the north, saith the Lord, and Nebuchadrezzar, the king of Babylon, who was from the south, my servants, and I will bring them against this land. That means that they were being hit from all sides, and against the inhabitants thereof, and against all these nations round about, and will utterly destroy them, and make them an astonishment, and an hissing, and perpetual desolations. Perpetual desolations, that's a big one. Actually, that sounds like a band name. Like a heavy metal band name. Perpetual Desolations. Wow. Moreover, I will take from them the voice of mirth, and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom, and the voice of the bride, the sound of the millstones, and the light of the candle. We've heard that in other places as well. The voice of gladness, I will take all this stuff away. The sound of the millstones, which is, grinding mill, that's the granaries. Take those away so that, you won't have any food. And of course, take away the light of the candle. He will take away the light, the very light of the candle. It will be darkness and desolation. Wow. And this whole land shall be a desolation and an astonishment. And these nations shall serve the king of Babylon 70 years. That's one generation. 70 years. No comment. We're gonna keep going. I got things in my head, but I don't want to pull them out because they don't really have too much to do with it. They have something to do with it, but I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there. Verse 12. And it shall come to pass when 70 years are accomplished, that I will punish the king of Babylon and that nation, saith the Lord, for their iniquity, and the land of the Chaldeans, and will make it perpetual desolations. And I will bring upon that land all my words which I have pronounced against it, even all that is written in this book, which Jeremiah hath prophesied against all the nations. For many nations and great kings shall serve themselves of them also, and I will recompense them according to their deeds, and according to the works of their own hands. Okay. Yet again, this is pretty self-explanatory. We're just going to go right through it. So back up to verse 12. And it shall come to pass, when 70 years are accomplished, that I will punish the king of Babylon, and that nation, saith the Lord, for their iniquity. I punish you for your iniquity. There he's talking to Jerusalem. I'm going to punish you because you decided not to listen to me. I told you over and over again. So I'm going to punish you. I'm going to hand you over to the Babylonians, whatever. I'm going to hand you over to the Babylonians. I'm going to let you serve there. You're going to serve there for 70 years. And then I'm going to punish them because I told them the same thing too. I've sent my people into Babylon, and I've told them, and they wouldn't listen at all. They're far worse than you are. They're still out there, worshiping all the pagan gods, doing all the abominations. So I told them, you're not going to listen to me? Fine. You're going to get it just as much as everybody else does. So this is my promise to you. I'm going to send you there. You're going to be in captivity, and then I'm going to pull you back out. In the land of the Chaldeans, and will make it perpetual desolations, and I will tear it down, just like everything else. You will serve there 70 years, and then you'll come back out. 13. And I will bring upon that land all my words, which I have pronounced against it, even all that is written in this book, which Jeremiah hath prophesied against all the nations. For many nations. What book is he talking about? Hold on a second. Written in this book. We're not talking about the Bible. We're talking about a book. What book? There has been no mention of a book. It has just been a mention of Jeremiah being told from God what to say. I'm going to look it up. 13? which has been written in this book. It just says book, which has been written to write, to inscribe, to write down. All these things I have pronounced against it, even all that is written in this book. That's interesting. Everybody wants to talk about the book of life, or the book that God supposedly has written for the history of the world. I have heard that over and over again. If it's in the Bible, I've skimmed over it, just like a lot of other things I've skimmed over. I know there is a book of life that everybody's name's written in, and your name gets blotted out if you choose not to accept the salvation. As far as books that the prophecies, well, I mean, we do talk about Isaiah. Isaiah did one, and who else was there? Somebody else. John did one too. Where they're told to take the book and put it in their mouths and eat it, and that's the word, and then the word comes up from them. It's sweet in the mouth, but it's bitter in your stomach, which means that they're beautiful words to hear, but it's very bitter to, what do you want to say, live out, I guess, or it's very bitter to experience, if that makes sense. Well, sometimes words are bitter to taste too. I think there's another one that I said, but maybe that's what he's talking about. The books, the big books. Oh, maybe, I've always had a problem with everybody saying something that literally happened, and I always like to say, well, nobody actually wrote down what you said or what you did. You didn't literally do something. Maybe that is something that's, I've thought about this before, is, maybe we're talking about God writing the books of things that have happened. He knows the end from the beginning. He would have written the books. Surely. The books are there. How does Satan know God's end plan? Well, duh, because Satan can read the books just like the rest of the angels can. Your Bible says Satan can freely go between heaven and hell. Whenever God calls the angels, Satan shows up. He knows. He knows how to trick everyone because he's read the books. There are books that are sealed up that not even the angels can read. So he doesn't know the full plan, but he has to know enough of the plan that he can trick people. That's how it works. There's so many people out there that don't understand, when people say, how can Satan do all these things if God is in control of all? Well, God lets Satan do it. He lets Satan read the book. He lets Satan in on enough of it, but he doesn't know the whole story because there are books that are sealed until the end of time. When Revelations happens, the books open up. So that is the time. That is the appointed time. No one knows the time or day except for God. Well, God also knows the books that he has sealed. No one will know those until they are opened. But Satan knows the game plan. He knows the books that are opened. He knows the names. He knows the places. He knows the times. He doesn't know all of it, but he knows enough that he can trick you. That's how this whole system works. It's a very weird spiritual system, but that's how the system works. That's how the Bible says it. That's how whenever I say that there's some kind of a rule that says that the enemy, the evil ones of this world, when they do something, they have to proclaim it. There has to be some bit of truth, some spiritual rule that they have to, show you before they do it to you, so that you will fall for it. That's how we started getting movies and magazines and books and all these other things, so that they could put it in your head, hey, this is going to happen. This is how predictive programming started, so that they could show you what they're going to do so that they won't feel guilty about it, so that there will be some truth that will go out into the world that, it's some kind of a spirit. I don't know it. I don't know why it's there. People have wondered, and that's got to be the best explanation. Is there some kind of unwritten, unspoken spiritual rule that says that they have to show their evil off before it happens? That's the books. Even all that is written in this book, which Jeremiah prophesied against all the nations. That's God talking about his books. Well, there you go. Verse 14, for many nations and great kings shall serve themselves of them also, and I will recompense them according to their deeds, and according to the works of their own hands. Verse 15, and this one is the long one. It goes from like 15, tell me it goes, 34. All right, from 15 to 34. This is going to be a big one. For thus saith the Lord God of Israel unto me, take the wine cup of this fury at my hand, and cause all the nations to whom I send thee to drink it, and they shall drink, and be moved, and be mad, because of the sword that I will send among them. Then took I the cup at the Lord's hand, and made all the nations to drink, unto whom the Lord had sent me, to wit, Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, and the kings thereof, and the princes thereof, to make them a desolation, an astonishment, an hissing, and a curse, as it is this day. Pharaoh king of Egypt, and his servants, and his princes, and all his people, and all the mingled people, and all the kings of the land of Uz, and all the kings of the land of the Philistines, and Ashkelon, and Azah, and Ekron, and the remnants of Ashdod, Edom, and Moab, and the children of Ammon, and all the kings of Tyrus, and all the kings of Zidon, and the kings of the isles which are beyond the sea, Dedan, and Tema, and Buz, and all that are in the utmost corners, and all the kings of Arabia, and all the kings of the mingled people that dwell in the desert, and all the kings of Zimri, and all the kings of Elam, and all the kings of the Medes, and all the kings of the north, far and near, one with another, and all the kingdoms of the world, which are upon the face of the earth, and the king of Shishak shall drink after them. Therefore thou shalt say unto them, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, Drink ye and be drunken, and spew and fall, and rise no more, because of the sword which I will send among you. And it shall be, if they refuse to take the cup at thine hand to drink, then shalt thou say to them, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, Ye shall certainly drink. For lo, I begin to bring evil on the city which is called by my name. And should ye be utterly unpunished, ye shall not be unpunished. For I will call for a sword upon all the inhabitants of the earth, saith the Lord of hosts. Therefore prophesy thou against them all these words, and say unto them, The Lord shall roar from on high, and utter his voice from his holy habitation. He shall mightily roar upon his habitation. He shall give a shout, as they that tread the grapes, against all the inhabitants of the earth. A noise shall come even to the ends of the earth, for the Lord hath a controversy with the nations. He will plead with all flesh. He will give them that are wicked to the sword, saith the Lord. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, Behold, evil shall go forth from nation to nation, and a great whirlwind shall be raised up from the coasts of the earth. And the slain of the Lord shall be at that day from one end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth. They shall not be lamented, neither gathered nor buried. They shall be dung upon the ground. Now I got to reread that whole thing because we have to read it. We have to read it twice. We have to read it twice. We'll get through it. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. It basically says, from top to bottom, go out to everyone around you, not just you, the pharaohs, all these people everywhere that is within this area that I have said I'm going to send the king of the Babylonians. You're all going to get wasted. This whole area is going to get trashed because every single one of you would not listen to me. You shall drink this wine of indignation. You shall drink this wine of destruction because I warned you. It's gotten so bad. It's one of the things that, whenever it talks about the days of Noah, this is so bad, I got to wipe the whole world away. And then we get to Sodom and Gomorrah. Or no, we get to the Tower of Babel. This is so bad, I got to bring it down. We talk about Sodom and Gomorrah. Things have gotten so bad, I have to destroy the city. We talk about Jerusalem when it was, we talk about Egypt. Let's try Egypt. Things have gotten so bad, I'm going to send all these plagues upon them, and I'm going to pull my people out. And then we talk about Jerusalem, and we talk about the surrounding areas. Things have now gotten so bad, I'm going to send somebody worse than you to tear you down, and then I'm going to take him out too. Over and over and over again, evil snowballs. Everybody gets to a point to where they're pretty good, and then evil comes in, and it gets worse and worse and worse. It gets to the point where God says, "Stop. It's gotten bad enough. You can't. If I let this keep going on, it's going to get back to the point where it was before. If I let this keep going on, it's going to get worse than it was before." If you think about it, the way that it's gone, it's slowly gotten better and better and better and better. I mean, he's now at the point of saying, if you're going to keep following these pagan gods, if you're going to keep doing these pagan rituals, I have to stop, or I have to stop you. What were they doing before that? Well, they were doing far worse before that. Sodom and Gomorrah was worse than Jerusalem. Tower of Babel was worse than Sodom and Gomorrah. The days of Noah was worse than the Tower of Babel. And all it did was just drive evil back into hiding more and more. But then what happened? Well, it came back out. It was like it came back out in Roman times. Christ went through and he looked at it. He said, it's happening again. It's happening again. What happened? The Roman Empire fell. Where'd the Roman Empire go? Well, it went and changed its name and became other things. And now it's building back up to a point to where they're just doing everything back in the open again. God said, I'm gonna send you a savior. And you're going to either accept him or reject him. And then what's going to happen is things are going to build back up to a point. Because I know they're going to build back up to a point because you people just can't get it through your head to just stop worshiping other gods. You can't get it through your head to stop being evil, to stop following your own hearts. So God has always said there's a better way, but you're not listening, you're not taking it. So it's going to build back up, and it's going to build back up to a point where it goes past Jerusalem, past Sodom and Gomorrah, which is where we're at right now, past the Tower of Babel, which is where it's going to be. That's going to be a one world order where they're going to want to kill God. Past that, to the days of Noah, where you're going to find every kind of abomination that you can't imagine because it's so far gone. The pendulum is swinging the other way. And we're seeing that more and more. We've seen it just completely getting out of hand. They are talking about stuff now that's just so absurd. Let's read through this again, though, starting back at 15. I get emotional. I really do whenever I do this stuff. It's because people just won't listen. People just won't hear it. It's screaming at a brick wall. That's all I gotta say. Screaming at a brick wall. Verse 15. For thus saith the Lord God of Israel unto me, take the wine cup of this fury at my hand, and cause all the nations whom I send thee to drink it. And they shall drink, and be moved, and be mad, and because of the sword that I will send among them. Then took I the cup at the Lord's hand, and made all the nations to drink, unto whom the Lord had sent me. And then we talk about all the nations, to wit, Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, and the kings thereof, and the princes thereof, to make them a desolation, an astonishment, an hissing, and a curse, as it is this day. Again, we are in the first year of the king of Babylon. This is the first year of being taken over. As it is this day, Jeremiah had made it through the desolation. Jeremiah is apparently he was allowed to roam freely. I don't know. Maybe they let their priests stay. You would figure if an attacking nation came through, they would keep the priests there, because what are they going to do? You know, what's this guy going to do? He's going to sit there and try to preach the word, but hey, who took over? We did. It is what it is. And he's a prophet too. He probably knows something more than we do, so we should probably keep him alive. Who knows? I don't know. But this is all pointing to the fact that, you know, he's living in the time of the king of Babylon. Verse 19, Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and his servants, and his people, and his princes, and all his people, and all the mingled people, and all the kings in the land of Uz, and all the kings of the land of the Philistines, and Ashkelon, and Azah, and Ekron, and the remnant of Ashdod. Normally I look these names up, but today we just don't have the time to look all these names up. Again, it is just all the people, all the surrounding places. The Babylonians took over a lot of stuff. Depending on which history books you want to read, they took over a lot of stuff. Edom and Moab and the children of Ammon, that was from the north. The Babylonians actually extended all the way north up into Edom. And all the kingdoms of Tyrus, and all the kings of Zidon, and the kings of the isles which are beyond the sea. The isles that were beyond the sea. Now this could be meaning the things that were in the Mediterranean. This could very well be talking about the islands that are on the other side of the world. Remember, these people were able, I don't want to say allowed, were able to go all the way across the world, not just their little spot. It's not like the Bible is, you know, even though the Bible likes to say, oh, we're just going to stay inside of the Middle East, the people of the world were able to go everywhere. This could be talking about the sea on the other side. This could be the Indian Ocean. So we're talking about like all the isles that are out, the Samoan Isles, all those places. I don't know. Remember, we are going under the impression that not only have they changed our times, our months, our calendars, they've changed our maps. Just because the compass points north doesn't mean that direction was called north all this time. Somebody said that and it blew my mind. So just because it says north doesn't mean that that's what they called north 2,000 years ago. Makes you think. I still go under the impression that all of our maps are wrong. All of the places are wrong, and that they have gone out of their way to move a lot of things in order to trick us and fool us. I've said that before too. I mean, Stonehenge isn't even real anymore. Because they moved Stonehenge. They moved Stonehenge, what, like 40 miles from where it was? Something like that? You have pictures of them remaking Egyptian statues and obelisks in the 1940s. That doesn't mean that they were there before that. They're just rebuilding them. Where were they before that? Some people have said that the pyramids of Egypt, the Great Pyramid, was there. But the other two, they say it's entirely possible that those were only put there within the past 500 years. I don't know if that's true or not. And it sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy. Somebody's going to hear that and they're going to be like, what are you talking about? Well, somebody said that, one of the ancient Egyptian kings, or presidents, or whatever they are, pretty recent, had said that, before a certain time, there was only one pyramid, not three. I don't know what to make of that. I don't want to even start speculating on it. A lot of people can probably disprove that, and that's why I don't put too much weight into it. I'm just telling you what it is. What I've heard is that these places may not even be real. They may dig out a city and be like, oh, hey, look, here's stuff. And they don't dig out cities in America. Why? Because they don't want us to know that there were people living here. Even though they can find burial mounds and all these other kinds of things, all over the place. Oh, we're not going to touch them. Every other place in the world we will dig up and we will look and we will try to find every artifact we possibly can, but don't touch America. Don't dig up America. Don't see what's underneath there. Even though you go out to places like the Grand Canyon and you've got entire mountainsides that look like buildings. You have places that look like statues. And yet we're not going to touch them. Because almost the entirety of America is a national preserve to where we can't dig to see what's under there. They don't want you to know something. Something's going on. It's almost like the entirety of the United States of America, what used to be here, North America, and parts of South America, were completely wiped away. And they don't want us digging to find out the truth. As soon as somebody finds something, the Smithsonian brings their people in, and everybody else gets cut out of the deal. There's something else going on. So when I talk about these places that are beyond the sea, that are at the north or at the south, again, we take everything with a grain of salt because we don't know. We don't know. That's all there is. We don't know. We're just going by their history, not the Bible's history. The isles that are beyond the sea. This is verse 23. Dedan and Tema and Buz, and all that are in the utmost corners, and all the kings of Arabia. I'm going to look up Dedan just to see what they say. What this says, low country. It does not say where it is. Name of two Cushites. Tema, son of Ishmael. It's a region of him, but it doesn't say where. Buz, it doesn't say where. Abraham's nephew, a Gadite. Well, that's stuff you can look up. 24. And all the kings of Arabia and all the kings of the mingled people that dwell in the desert. The mingled people that dwell in the desert. That's interesting. And all the kings of Zimri and all the kings of Elam, and all the kings of the Medes, and all the kings of the north, far and near, one with another, and all the kingdoms of the world which are upon the face of the earth, and the king of Shishak shall drink after them. Therefore thou shalt say unto them, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, Drink ye, and be drunken, and spew, and fall, and rise no more, because of the sword which I will send among you. And it shall be, if they refuse to take the cup at thine hand to drink, then shalt thou say unto them, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, Ye shall certainly drink. I'm going to send this on you whether you like it or not. For lo, I begin to bring evil on the city which is called by my name. And should ye be utterly unpunished, ye shall not be unpunished, for I will call for a sword upon all the inhabitants of the earth, saith the Lord of hosts. All the inhabitants of the earth. Now before that it said, that even the city that was in my name, I'm going to tear down. You think I'm not going to come after you next? Then it says, I will send a sword upon all the inhabitants of the earth. Not just an isolated part of the world. I'm going to send a sword on everyone. I'm going to send the Babylonians. These are the people that I said, the Babylonians and the Chaldeans. I'm going to send them across to get everyone, because he didn't put the Babylonians in this process. He didn't say, I'm going to send, go down to the Babylonians and take a drink. He said, no, I'm going to send them across to everybody, and you're going to be captive in them for 70 years. Then I'm going to punish them, and you're going to be pulled back out. So, is he talking about sending the Babylonian Empire to everywhere in the world? He said all the inhabitants of the earth. Think about that for a second. Think about how that would work. Yet again, they had the ability to cross the oceans. They had the ability to go to North America. If they started in the Middle East, they had the ability to go to North America. I'd really like to know who the mingled people of the desert are. That's one. That'd be interesting to find out. Therefore prophesy thou against them all these words, and say unto them, The Lord shall roar from on high, and utter his voice from his holy habitation. He shall mightily roar upon his habitation, and shall give a shouts, as they that tread the grapes, against all the inhabitants of the earth. A noise shall come even to the ends of the earth, for the Lord hath a controversy with the nations. He will plead with all flesh. He will give them that are wicked to the sword, saith the Lord. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, Behold, evil shall go forth from nation to nation, and a great whirlwind shall be raised up from the coasts of the earth, and the slain of the Lord shall be at that day from one end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth. They shall not be lamented, neither gathered, nor buried. They shall be dung upon the ground. The question here is this the end of the world? Is this when the ultimate judgment comes, or is this him talking about Jeremiah going out to all the people, to all the countries, to all the nations, and telling them, I'm coming for you. Right now I'm coming for you. Because right here, underneath verse 33, there is 3 references. One of them goes back to Isaiah 66, which Isaiah 66 we knew was where they were talking about, we were talking about the end of the world. This also talks about Jeremiah chapter 16 and Psalm 79. I'd actually like to see that. Psalm 79. what was it? Psalm 79:3? Their blood have they shed like water around Jerusalem, and there was none to bury them. Oh no, it's just a reference to their bodies being... But Isaiah 66 is where he was talking about. Because I know the end of Isaiah was where they were talking about the end of the world. Before, because he had pulled up the Savior, and then he said that he will bring all this destruction and evil after that. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord will be many. The Lord will come with fire in his chariots like the whirlwind, like a whirlwind, and render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire, because he will end the world with fire. And of course, this is the same thing, is that there will be the whirlwind. This is Jeremiah 32. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, behold, evil shall go forth from nation to nation, and a great whirlwind shall be raised up from the coast of the earth. That is almost exactly what what Isaiah says. Isaiah 66 says. Just pointing that stuff out there. It's something to contemplate. Are we talking about the very end of the world, or are we just talking about where he was going to just take, let the Babylonians just cover the world? And if the Babylonians covered the world, that would make a lot of explanations of why we have a lot of these artifacts in America. If they were to have taken over the entire world, they talk about the caves that were in the Grand Canyon that had not only Egyptian artifacts, Hebrew artifacts. They supposedly had Chinese artifacts, Japanese artifacts, all these other different artifacts from all over the world crammed into one cave. It's possible. I don't know. It's something to contemplate. Verse 34, home stretch. Let's do this, because I am still running out of time. Verse 34, howl, ye shepherds, and cry, and wallow yourselves in the ashes, ye principal of the flock. For the days of your slaughter and of your dispersions are accomplished, and ye shall fall like a pleasant vessel. And the shepherds shall have no way to flee, nor the principal of the flock to escape. A voice of the cry of the shepherds, and an howling of the principal of the flock shall be heard, for the Lord hath spoiled their pasture. And the peaceable habitations are cut down because of the fierce anger of the Lord. He hath forsaken his covert as the lion. He has forsaken his covert as the lion, for their land is desolate because of the fierceness of the oppressor and because of his fierce anger. Alright, let's reread it again. Again, it's pretty self-explanatory. 34. Howl, ye shepherds, and cry, and wallow yourselves in the ashes, ye principal of the flock. For the days of your slaughter and of your dispersions are accomplished, and ye shall fall like a pleasant vessel. Everything you've done, it's over. All your entire flocks, everything shall be destroyed and taken away, and the shepherds shall have no way to flee, nor the principal of the flock to escape. There will be nowhere to go. A voice of the cry of the shepherds and an howling of the principal of the flock shall be heard, for the Lord hath spoiled their pasture, and the peaceable habitations are cut down because of the fierce anger of the Lord. He hath forsaken his covert as the lion. That one's a weird one. What is a covert? His lair. There you go. He has forsaken his lair as the lion, for their land is desolate because of the fierceness of the oppressor and because of his fierce anger. Is this, once again, is this God telling Jeremiah to go to all the nations and tell them, someday I will burn you down? I will burn it all down. every single bit of it? Or is this God telling Jeremiah, just for right now, I'm going to burn you down now, not in the future, but now? Because both Jeremiah and Isaiah have talked about future tense of, the end of the world, where it says that God will come back and he will take all of this. Isaiah talked about a person that he will send, that God will send before that point, and then God will burn everything down, and there will be nothing left, and there will be dead from one side to the other, and there will be a judgment. This isn't necessarily talking about a judgment. This is just saying, drink of this cup because I am going to destroy you just like everybody else. Are we talking about something that's happening in the immediate future, or are we talking something that's happening at the end of time? Because this says, verse 29, ye shall not be unpunished, for I will call for a sword upon all the inhabitants of the earth. All the inhabitants of the earth. Something to think about. If that is something close to when Jeremiah was talking, that means at that time, God sent a sword, sent an army, an evil army out into the entire world and cut everything off. And we want to talk about how the Mississippians, the North Americans, the South American cultures, all those places suddenly disappeared out of thin air. They just magically just vanished. Because they used to be there. There used to be cultures that made all these places, that made these pyramids, that made these mounds, that made these cities. And then just someday, magically, they just up and gone. Who did that? What did that? Some people say disease. Some people say all kinds of stuff. Some people say wars. They built great walls. Great, huge, monstrous walls because supposedly they were worried about barbarian tribes getting through. They were worried about other tribes breaking in. Where were the other tribes? Because all of the Mississippians, they all worshiped the same things. They all had the same stuff. These weren't people that were fighting against each other. These were people that were all together. So who was fighting against them? Why would they make these walls? Makes you think. It really makes you think. I'm not saying that is what it is. I'm just putting that out there because, again, you can't trust your own history because everything is a lie. Wouldn't that be the way, though? Wouldn't that just be the way that it would be? Because it would be because of some Babylonian hordes that God sent throughout the world to take everything over. And then the Babylonians couldn't hold it because God said, I'm going to give you 70 years where you rule the world. And then I'm going to take it away from you. Wouldn't that just be the way, though? Man, that's... Some people could disagree, and I could definitely see how some people could disagree, and I could definitely see how it doesn't fit the timelines. I could understand that, but at the same time, this is supposedly, what is this about? What do we say this was? About 500, 800 years BC, something like that. Before Christ. We're right on top of the the 0 hour. But I don't remember exactly when they said it was. I think it was, anywhere between like 500 to 800. I think it's what it said. And what if that was it? And then all they have to do is change the dates. They say that the Mississippian culture was there. What did they say? From 400 AD to 1000 AD. They just change the dates. Instead of 400 AD to 1000 AD, what if it was 1000 BC to 400 AD or 800 AD or whatever, or BC? And they disappeared. I'm sorry, I had a little cough going there. I gotta stop though. I gotta stop so I can go to work. Just food for thought. Just something to think about. That's gonna have me thinking all day. That's really gonna have me thinking all day. I gotta find some alternate history videos to see if anything lines up. Seriously though, makes you think. Start with a blank slate. Start with a blank slate and kind of work backwards. Take these things like this and kind of put them together and see if you can come up with something, because we can't trust anything anymore. And this kind of stuff, when you read it in the Bible, if we're going to follow the word, the true honest 100% word of the Bible, if it's talking about we're either talking about Jeremiah going out to all the nations and saying, one of these days I'm going to burn you down, or it's Jeremiah going out to the nations and saying, hey, I'm getting ready to burn you down. It's got to be one way or the other. I don't know. But he said right here, all the inhabitants of the earth, everybody, by a sword. There will be a destruction by a sword. So many people will say, well, no, he promises by a sword by the end of it. What if there was one before that? So we don't know. Our history was written by evil men that won wars. Your real history is hidden inside of a vault underneath the Vatican. You don't know anything. You know nothing. I know nothing. With that being said, God bless you all. Take care of yourselves. I love every one of you. Go just, think about that. Contemplate that. It's interesting stuff. It really is. But I shall talk to y'all later. It is Friday, isn't it? Yes, it is Friday. Wow. Be careful out there. Every single day, they could be planning something. For all of the true men and women of God, pray. Put on the full armor every single day. For all of the true patriots of America, pray to God. Ask him what you should be doing. If you are told that you need to get up and fight, you need to get up and fight. Pray to God. Ask him for understanding. For everyone else, open your eyes. Open your eyes to the truth. This world does not love you anymore. And there are evil men that are actively trying to kill you. Alright, with that being said, I love you all. Take care of yourselves.